I picture them as demons, and I wrote a 7-page short story, and that became the basis of the movie. Then collaborating with Jordan in particular, just grew this whole other piece.
Well, tell us, just so we get a taste of, kind of that inspiration before we start, if you don't mind elaborating a little bit, because this is such an intricate and rich and dense kind of world that you've created, and you've been living with it for a long time. So if you don't mind just telling us a little bit more about that inspiration. It came from your sons, and then you had a chance to kind of bounce it off to a great comic mind.
I mean, I started another film after Coraline. It didn't work out. It was just bad blood. I was kind of done. It's always hard to get these stop motion features up and off the ground. But then came along the Peel show on Comedy Central, and I was just blown away by how talented this guy and Jordan were. And it took me 3 seasons to finally reach out, and we'd like to work with him on something, and I had this little story, and then Jordan, he wanted to do more because he was such a fan of stop motion animation. So my little skeleton of the story really came to life with that collaboration. Now, these voice actors contribute a lot to create the characters. Pablo Lobato did a brilliant job of designing, doing caricatures of the demons that they actually could accept. They were a little worried about that. Why is that so long? Why is that? So it was like kind of a 2-stage thing. And we did actually start to do a book with Clay McLeod-Chapman. He never quite got there on it, but maybe when the film's out in the world, we'll get that book finished.
And then, would you mind telling us, because you sort of like, there was technically, in terms of just the technique and technology of stop motion, when you were working with Leica and Coraline, you guys just broke these kind of sound barriers there. What from that experience did you take with you, and what did you have to kind of invent anew for this one that we can look for?
Yeah, going back to the dark ages of stop motion, doing Nightmare Before Christmas, when I directed that, that was totally old school, but we brought in motion control cameras. We wanted to make it feel like a big, rich kind of story. But between that and Coraline, mind-boggling changes. Everything went digital. We could record the entire shot. We could paint out mistakes. We could comp anything in together. But between then and doing Wendell Wild, I am the animation supervisors in particular, Jeff Riley, who's here today. We discussed why are we doing stop motion? What do we love most about it? And we actually took a step backwards and decided to show off more of its charm, its mistakes. The faces are replaced to create new expressions and to emote or to speak. And we divided the faces up. It was a big scene line. We had that back on Coraline. I wanted to leave it in, but people freaked out. So we left that in. We left it in small mistakes. We didn't shoot everything on 24 poses a second. We shot some 2s or 3s. And we just really wanted to remind the audience that this was humans touching and wrestling these performances from these puppets. Life and death struggle at times, but that's amazing. So we did not use all the modern technology that was at our disposal, but we actually took that step back. Why bother with the stop motion? Here's why we love it, and that's kind of at the heart of this.
Do you guys know what 2s and 3s mean in animation?
Yes.
I was curious about that because it has kind of a different music, a different kind of rhythm. We don't see 3s that often, it's like, but it gives things kind of like, it emphasizes this stop motion-ness of it in a charming way. You'll see. But so, do you guys want to pass the mic? Does anyone want to say anything, or would you prefer to let Henry do your voice?
You want to talk about your character a little? You did such a great job.
Just say hi to the crowd. I don't know if you've been.
Hi. I auditioned for this in 2017, and then it kind of came back around in 2018, which is when I found out I got it. And then we filmed at the end of 2019 and a bit of 2020, and I mainly worked with Henry, which was just insane. I was 13 at the time, so I really couldn't understand what he had done and his legacy. And so it was kind of just working with like a pretty normal person, which is insane because he's Henry Selick. But anyways, it was such a process and such a collaboration to go through this character, which was really like powerful for me, being a young woman in film. And yeah, so we created this kind of preppy, popular girl, British girl in this school who kind of keeps herself and her RBC girls. And we kind of get to see her come into contact with Kat, who comes from a completely different background. And we get to see that relationship form, and because they're from such different backgrounds, you see them clash so much. And it's so interesting to see and play with that. And Lyric was also amazing, and it's just so fantastic working with such legends. Yeah, that's all I've got to say. So.
I don't want to say too much. I just want to start this thing. I want them to see this thing. I just want people to see this. I don't want to take anything away from Ellen or Pablo, but so if you guys want to say something, please. You're gonna love.
I agree. I just want to see the movie. Actually, I'm quite nervous with this. This is my first movie, my first everything. I know you are a lot of you are animators. I'm not an animator. I'm just an illustrator. I work for newspapers and things like that. And I received this call from Henry asking me to get involved in this. And I love the story and I love the project. So I said yes. Immediately, I was terrified because why I say yes. I don't know how to design characters, but I'm a caricature artist, so I know about faces and I practice a lot and I learn a lot in the process. And now I'm so excited to see this movie. I drew Keegan Michael Key a lot of times. I think it was like 3 months drawing him and Jordan. So it's like proud. I don't, you don't know me, but I really know you. So let's see the movie.
Wanted to shout out Netflix for joining us on this long journey in making this film, and also somewhere in the audience is our intrepid line producer Julie Rack. Her steady hand. And then, of course, to Henry for letting me come on this wild ride with him. And it definitely was a life-changing experience for me. I think you all are going to love this movie. And I hope that you will tell all of your friends to press play October 28th.
Big screen, tell your friends, because it's not going to be there long. All right, no more delay. But let's hear it one last time for the crowd.